In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." Why is it that the Bible is the most important book of history? I'm convinced of this, and this is why. I visited the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. The museum itself is a beautiful and immersive walk through the history of the book. The Bible is a library of 66 books which tells the stories of God the Creator, God the Father, God the All-Being, and the relationship between God and its creation, us, human beings. Stories of love, hate, kings, kingdoms, wars, slavery, freedom, promises, failures, victories, and redemption. But the stories also lead to one ultimate hero, Jesus, God in the flesh. But what makes the Bible so undying? It is the value of the stories, the meaning in them. Throughout history, we have created our own values, ideas, and knowledge. But what I have been able to see is how complex we are, how we always find ourselves battling between good and evil. And this is exactly what the stories of the Bible portrays. Since the fall of man, as described in the book of Genesis, we rise and stumble, fight and die, hate and love, and give birth. For how long would the same stories repeat themselves? Well, we don't know. For more than 2,000 years, we have been telling each other these stories. We have made religions out of them. Many good has been made in the name of God, but bad too. But for the ones that hate God, for the bad, hey, He wasn't the one doing it. Because of how bad this has gone at some times in history, and for sure more reasons, one being science and philosophy, many discard the idea of God. They have tried to separate themselves from anything that has to do with the rules for life that God laid out for men in the scriptures, but history shows how bad it turns out when they kill God, the ideal. And also how the most atheist of people hold some of these values in their trajectory of life. These values that are talked about in the Bible are living in our Western culture and are also fundamental for a thriving society. I actually very recently became aware of the fact that some people, even though they say they're not religious or they do not believe in God, actually do act out some of the principles, or in biblical terms, commandments. Most commonly being not killing, not robbing, not committing adultery. And I was actually making this comment to one of my good friends, and I said that actually many people are a bit Christian and they don't even know it. It can be said in a sense that some of these principles are the basics or foundational for the birth of morality principles. And nowadays, the world seems to be going into a really messy, complicated, and confusing time. And actually, the Bible talks about this. Our most ancient story is divided into parts: BC and AD. BC meaning before Christ, and AD meaning Anno Domini, the year of the Lord. By now, it seems completely impossible to ignore the fact of a historical Jesus. The Bible is a historical library of wisdom, knowledge, and truth, and it is the right place to get to know God. And is living and active in a big part of our culture and of who we are. So, this is why I think the Bible is the most important book of history. And my hope at the end is that we don't forget to find our way back to light.